Have you ever walked into a high-end home or flipped through an architectural magazine and felt a deep sense of envy over those massive floor-to-ceiling libraries? There is something about a wall of books that makes a home feel established, expensive, and full of character. But then you call a local contractor, and they quote you $8,000, $10,000, or even $15,000 for custom millwork. It's enough to make you close the magazine and walk away. But today, we are changing the narrative. We are taking the most basic, recognizable piece of furniture in the world, the IKEA Billy bookcase, and we are going to hack it so thoroughly that even a professional carpenter wouldn't recognize its origins. This isn't just about putting furniture together, it's about architectural transformation. We're going to cover everything from the structural foundation and the secret to seamless carpentry to the high-end finishing touches like moody paint and brass gallery lighting. By the end of this, you won't just have a new shelf. You'll have a completely redefined living space that adds thousands of dollars in perceived value to your home for a fraction of the cost. Before we even pick up a screwdriver, we have to talk about the why and the where. Most people make the mistake of just buying as many shelves as will fit on a wall and stopping there. But true custom built-ins are about intentionality. Measure your wall 3 times. You need to account for the width of the bookcases, but more importantly, you need to account for the gaps. In this project, we actually want small gaps between the units because that is where the magic of the face frames happens. For this build, we are using the standard Billy units along with the height extension kits. This is crucial because a built-in only looks built-in if it touches the ceiling. If there's a 6-inch gap at the top, the illusion is broken. You also need to gather your transformation kit. 2x4s for the base, 1x2 pine boards for the trim, a brad nailer, a lot of wood filler, and high-quality primer. Remember, we are building over laminate, and laminate is notoriously difficult to paint. If you don't use the right primer, specifically a shellac-based one like Zinsser Bin, your beautiful paint job will peel off in 6 months. Now, let's get into phase 1, the foundation. This is the step most DIYers skip, and it's the reason their projects look amateur. If you place an IKEA shelf directly on the floor, it looks like a shelf. To make it a built-in, we need to build a plinth. This is a simple rectangular frame made of 2x4s that sits on the floor. Why do we do this? Because it lifts the entire unit up about 3.5 inches. This height allows us to run our home's existing baseboards across the front of the shelves. When the baseboard is continuous from the wall to the furniture, your brain stops seeing a piece of furniture and starts seeing a part of the house. Use a level here. Most floors in American homes are notoriously unlevel. Use shims to make sure your base is perfectly flat. Because if the base is crooked, the tops of your shelves will be miles apart by the time they reach the ceiling. Secure that base into the floor joists or the wall studs. This is the anchor for your entire project. Once the base is set, we move into the assembly phase. This is the standard part of the job, putting the billies together. But here's a pro tip. Use wood glue in every single dowel hole and along every seam as you assemble them. IKEA furniture is held together by tension and cam locks, but wood glue creates a permanent bond. Since we are never planning on moving these again, we want them as rigid as possible. As you stand them up on your new base, don't just lean them against the wall. You need to secure them to each other and then to the wall studs. Use clamps to pull the side panels of the bookcases perfectly flush with one another, then use cabinet screws to join them. This prevents them from shifting or bowing over time. Once they are all joined into one massive unit, use L-brackets to anchor the tops into the wall studs. Safety is paramount, especially when you're building something this tall. Phase 3 is where the artistry happens. This is the carpentry phase. Right now you have a row of shelves with visible seams and those telltale IKEA peg holes for the adjustable shelving. We're going to erase all of that. We take our 1x2 pine strips and nail them directly onto the front vertical edges of the bookcases. These are called face frames. They cover the double thickness of the side-by-side panels and create a thick, substantial look that mimics custom cabinetry. Then, we do the same for the horizontal shelves. By adding a small lip of trim to each shelf, you hide the thin particle board and make each shelf look 2 inches thick. Now, about those peg holes, thousands of them. It's tedious, but you need to fill every single hole you aren't using with wood filler. Once it's dry, sand it flat. When we paint later, those holes will vanish, and the interior of the shelf will look like one smooth, solid piece of wood. Now let's talk about the top. The gap between the top of your shelf and the ceiling is the dead zone. We fill this by adding a header board and then attaching crown molding. Crown molding is the ultimate signifier of a custom build. It bridges the gap between the furniture and the architecture of the room. If you've never cut crown molding before, it can be intimidating because of the compound angles. But here's the trick. Cut them upside down and backwards on your miter saw, or use crown molding corner blocks if you want to avoid the complex cuts. Once that crown is up, the structure is finished. But it still looks like raw wood and white laminate. This brings us to the most important part of the entire process, the prep and paint. Painting laminate is a science. First, You must scuff sand every square inch with 220 grit sandpaper. You aren't trying to sand the finish off. You just want to create tooth so the primer has something to grab onto. Wipe it all down with a tack cloth to remove every speck of dust. Then apply your shellac-based primer. This stuff smells strong, so crack a window, but it is the only thing that will truly bond to that IKEA finish. Once the primer is dry, sand it lightly again for a buttery, smooth finish. Now, for the color. Modern trends are leaning toward moody academe. Think deep forest greens, dark charcoals, or even a rich navy blue. Use a high-quality cabinet paint. Cabinet paint is designed to level out as it dries, meaning your brush strokes and roller marks will disappear, leaving you with a finish that looks like it was done in a factory. Do 2 thin coats rather than 1 thick one. Patience here is the difference between a DIY project and a masterpiece. We are in the home stretch now, and it's time for the jewelry of the project, the lighting. Lighting is what separates a dark, heavy bookshelf from a glowing, high-end library. The current trend on social media is the brass picture light. These long, elegant lamps sit at the top of each bookcase section and cast a warm glow downward. The best part is, you don't need an electrician. You can buy battery-operated, remote-controlled versions of these lights on Amazon for $20 a piece. Simply screw them into the header board we installed earlier. The gold or brass finish against a dark paint color like charcoal or olive green creates an incredible contrast that looks instantly expensive. Finally, we have to talk about styling, because a library is only as good as what's on the shelves. This is where you bring in your personality. Don't just cram books in horizontally. Mix it up. Stack some vertically, some horizontally. Use book breaks, small sculptures, vases, or framed photos to give the eye a place to rest. Follow the rule of thirds: 1/3 books, 1/3 decor, and 1/3 empty space. This prevents the wall from feeling cluttered or overwhelming, and when you step back and turn on those brass lights for the first time, you won't believe what you've accomplished. You've taken about $500 in materials and a weekend of sweat equity and turned it into a feature that would cost a homeowner thousands of dollars. You've proven that you don't need a massive budget to have a beautiful home. You just need a plan, a bit of patience, and the willingness to pick up a tool and try. Now, it's time to grab your favorite book, sit back, and enjoy the view of your brand new custom-built library. You earned it.